Hi internet people. So this week on Preacher, they have officially visited every single jazz club in New Orleans, and to pass the time, deal with their issues of not finding God yet, Jesse, Cassidy, and Tulip head to this place called the Hurt Locker, where these dudes put on bulletproof vests and shoot each other, and if you survive being shot, you get money. Cassidy and Tulip pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Jesse shows up and says, like, don't do this is awful. But then they wind up shooting Cassidy with this, like, massive gun. They think he's dead. Everyone runs. But then they steal all the money and they start drinking everything out of the bar. We finally learn what Dennis has been trying to tell Cassidy this whole freaking time. There's randomly a professor of French who does not leave the bar. He apparently wasn't at the Hurt Locker stuff, or if he was, he doesn't care that someone died. And he says, oh, I can translate for you, and reveals that Dennis is dying and wants Cassidy to bite him. Cassidy then proceeds to drink himself into a stupor and gets picked up by these trucks. So there are these like two trucks in this episode. One picks up drunk people and one picks up dead people. And Cassidy doesn't have any life signs, so he goes in the dead truck. So he's basically locked up the whole episode. Not a lot of Cassidy stuff happening. Jesse is trying to figure out some stuff about the end of the world. So Jesse actually, all he really does this episode is, besides he and Tulip talking, Tulip is still dealing with a ton of stuff from when the Saint of Killers touched her. She keeps having these nightmares, and there's this intense nightmare scene where she wakes up from a nightmare where the Saint was like holding her neck, and then she goes to the kitchen, makes tea, and then it's in like this loop where like she closes the window, comes back to turn the kettle off, then the window is still open, then the kettle is back on, then suddenly the Saint of Killers is holding her throat again, and she wakes up in the morning and she tells Jesse like she had this nightmare again, and he like, they don't really talk about it. She's like, can't you feel it? Can't you feel that something's off? And Jesse's like, no, I gotta go talk to a guy about the end of the world. So Tulip winds up going and finding the gunslinging guys, and she tells them exactly what they did the night before. She straps on the vest, has them shoot her, because she says they can win their money back, and then she's fine. So that's a little weird, because it looked like the gunshot went through her vest. I could be wrong. But I looked like she got shot. I don't know. Because if Tulip did get shot, does this mean she's the new Saint of Killers? Did something happen? Is she like blessed, cursed, doomed? I don't know. It seemed really odd. But she like bounced back really fast, so I don't know. Jesse winds up talking to this preacher. Yes, I am doing this in a specific order. Oh look, the pipes are making noise. Great. Sorry, there's air in the pipes in my house, and sometimes if you do anything with water, everything above my head starts growling. It's great. Anyway, there's a reason I'm doing this the way I'm doing it, because there's actually a huge chunk of this episode devoted to Herr Starr, so I thought I'd get the trio stuff out of the way now. Jesse winds up talking to this, like, street corner preacher who says, the end of the world is coming, and, like, I mean, it looks like the end of the world is coming, of course, doesn't it? He doesn't have, like, solid proof, but he says it looks like it is, so he tells people it is, like, it sounds like it is. And then they have a talk about the soul thing without Jesse saying, like, he gave up part of his soul, and the guy's like, if he wants to help his friends, he should give up his kidney. Like, it doesn't really help Jesse. Cassidy does get out of the, he gets picked up and put in, they have a name, I wanted to call them a corpse locker, and that's not what they're called. They're in morgues. I don't remember what they're called. They have doors and handles. I don't remember. But he gets out, he winds up seeing people, like, mourning over their dead, and then he's still sort of trying to figure out what to do about Dennis, because he told Dennis he didn't want to turn him, because Dennis wants to be a vampire, so he won't die. So there's all of that. Herr Starr's introduction is interesting. So we've seen him before, but for this episode, we actually opened in Vietnam, and this pig starts floating, and Herr Starr is there because we learn that Herr Starr, we know he's part of the Grail. His specific job as part of the Grail is later revealed to be that he kills all other things that mess up, like, the prophecy of Jesus Christ and, like, sort of detract from the trueness. So he has to, like, kill all things that are against the Christian ideology, so he's there to kill this pig. So he shows up in Vietnam, he's not having a great time, and then while he's in Vietnam, we're given his backstory. So in 2004, he was recruited by the Grail to take part in these like training exercises, which get absolutely freaking ridiculous. So one, he doesn't want to do this at all. He's like, I was told there would be a brothel with young immigrant women. Like, it's so awkward. And the guy's like, no, I mean, maybe there will be women later, but really what you want is a world made entirely of order and da 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 da. Don't you want to join our thing? And he's like, well, if you can show me, like, sure. So he like winds up joining these trials, and one, all of these dudes are there and they're all naked. And Herr Starr, while naked, one, dude is missing an eye, like, I don't know. I think he's blind in one eye, but who knows, maybe it's just cloudy. He totally has nipple piercings with a chain, like he has barbells with a chain across them, which seems like it would just be awkward, because like my earrings sometimes get caught on stuff. I can't imagine what that chain would do to your clothes. But he's like pissed because they don't validate parking. So they wind up telling him they'll validate his parking. Then there are a series of trials. One involves just like a ball, like throwing a ball at a wall. Then they have to wrestle. And he says, I want you to know in advance that I take no pleasure in this. And literally starts jacking off while the guy is strangling him. And the guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm doing, it's like he says a word, auto-completion, whatever, which distracts the guy. Then he like kills the guy. Actually, he subdues him and then comes back with a weapon and like kills him, which is crazy. And they're like, oh, using sex as a weapon is great. And I'm like, okay, does that mean Starr is a sex machine? Because it gets weirder. They have to seduce a woman, and he doesn't seduce her. Like, literally the guy before her does. Because seduce someone for information, and literally he's like, give me the microfiche or I will kill your family. And I was like, what? I don't know what that accent was. Please ignore that accent. That was a weird thing that happened. And it's like, he doesn't seduce her. Then, like 3 of them are tied up to chairs with a battery, like a car battery connected to their trunk. And he's fine, like he's just chilling, like it's a casual day at the beach, like he's just like, I'm like, of course you've already done this, I feel like you've done everything, and he's fine. Then there's a shooting contest because there's 2 finalists, and the first guy like shoots and like gets all the bullseye nonsense, and then literally he says good luck to Herr Starr, and Herr Starr literally is like, boom, and I'm like, duh, of course he shot the guy. And so he gets the job because he's the only finalist left after like using sex to win everything. I was like, I don't understand. Like, I was cracking up. When he gets the new job, they tell him like what his job will be. He gets the fancy suit, which kind of reminded me of the Jurassic Park owner's suit. I don't know why. I think it's the hat he wears in Vietnam. Like explaining the job, which I already sort of did, like it's his job to kill because Jesus fathered the line and da, 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 like they're protecting the line. Like it's the whole thing that the Grail in a few other variations has done, where the Grail is actually supposed to protect the lineage of Jesus on Earth. It's a thing. So he actually kills his boss, like pushes him off a balcony. So now Starr is in charge. And then we pop back to Vietnam. He's killed the pig. He's actually killed the entire town. And then on the news, we learn through like the most computered voice ever that's like, Mer. It literally isn't even Siri. Like, it's just the most monotone, like, are you going to ask a question? Like, it doesn't even sound like anything. I don't know why I was saying, are you going to ask a question? I don't know. But like, it reveals there was too much hydrogen in the water, which made the pig float, which makes absolutely no sense. Like, the whole thing is ridiculous. I don't even know. Herr Starr's introduction was great. I was cracking up because his character is just so bananas. I don't even know. But it was an interesting episode. I'm really worried about Tulip, though, and I don't know what Cassidy is going to do with Dennis. He doesn't want to turn him. Dennis definitely wants to be turned because he's dying. His dad's a vampire. Like, I understand. I don't know. And then Jesse's still coming to terms with the fact that he gave away 1% of his soul. So that's an issue. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Tulip. I'm really worried she's going to be the new saint of killers and like lose her soul, and that'll be terrible, and I'm not okay with it. Next week we also get Eugene. We're going back to hell next week, so that's exciting because I really want to know what's happening with Eugene. Let me know what you thought of this episode of Preacher in the comments below or on Twitter. I am at Kleffnotes. You can find me on my blog, kleffnotes.wordpress.com, or The Nerdy Girl Express, thenerdygirlexpress.com, and on the Snapchat, thenerdygirlexp. Bye, enough people.